Shalom, shalom, everybody. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our morning Sabbath class, July 4th, 2020. And we're going to start out with a moment of silence. And the moment of silence is referencing to recognize Yahweh and the Lord of hosts and all that they're doing right now in the earth. And then we're going to go into our prayer. Oh Lord, we pray unto you, to you, Lord, my God. We make our confessions, oh Lord, the great and dreadful God, keeping covenant and mercy to them that love thee and to them that keep thy commandments. O Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us confusion of face, as at this day, to the men of Judah and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem and unto all Israel that are near and that are far off, through all the countries whither thou hast driven us, because of our trespass, that we have trespassed against thee. As it is written in the laws of Moses, all this evil is come upon us in the land of our captivity, here in the Americas. Okay. O Lord, according to all thy righteousness, I beseech thee, that thine anger and thy fury be turned away from thy city Jerusalem and the people and thy holy mountain. O Lord, hear this prayer, cause thy face to shine upon the sanctuary and thy people for your sake. O Lord, open thine eyes and incline thine ears to hear and behold our condition. O Lord, hear. O Lord, forgive. O Lord, hearken and do. Defer not for thine own sake. O my Lord, for thy people and your land need you very desperately at this hour. Shalom. Okay. Yeah, so will I do something wrong? Yeah, so what I'm gonna go do now is go into current events. Anybody got any current events?
Not other than that Farrakhan address, and then seeing Dr. Farrakhan in Times Square. I feel like that's a big sign of I guess this exodus, if you will.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That was I wrote that down because I was gonna get it. It's a video. I had to wrote it down. Let me see what it said. Yeah, that's right here. It says the video is congratulations, Dr. Farrakhan, billboard in Times Square, New York City, join the movement. It's 4 minutes and 19 seconds. Yeah, so what I was going to talk about as far as current events, I got a coronavirus update, and it says some Texas hospitals are at 100% capacity, and coronavirus has killed more than 525,000 people around the world. And then it says more than 10.8 million people across the globe have been diagnosed with COVID-19, the disease caused by the new respiratory virus, according to data compiled by the Center of System Science and Engineering at Johns Hopkins University. We know that when you see Johns Hopkins, that's Illuminati all day long. It says the actual numbers are believed to be much higher due to the testing shortages, many unreported cases, and suspicions that some governments are hiding the scope of their nation's outbreaks. It says the United States is the worst affected country in the world, with more than 2.79 million diagnosed cases, and at least 1,029,437 deaths. Okay, and then yesterday on July 3rd, some people in Texas received a jarring alert on their phone Friday evening saying that hospitals were at capacity. The alert was sent out to Hidalgo. I don't know if anybody know that. That's in Texas. I worked over there like 12 months. It's like if you've never been there, it's crazy because it's like right by the border, man. It's like you know how you have a hole in your tire and you have to put it in water They see all that the bubbles start coming up.
Right.
Well, you see all these Mexicans all over the place, right? All over America, you see them. They had an influx of them all over the place. Where you go right there, this place right there, Dago, that's where the leak at. They coming in there like flies, and so it says Friday evening, saying hospitals were at capacity. The alert sent to Hidalgo and Starr County, that's over there right by the border. County residents asked them to celebrate this holiday weekend responsibly by sheltering in place and avoid gatherings of more than 10 people, wearing a face mask and social distancing. So what you're looking at is, I don't know if anybody on here is familiar with, I talked about it, but Rex 84 and the King Alpha plane. Rex 84 is tied to it started out with King Alpha plane. That's for the blacks in America. They got a system, a plan that's been in place way back with Reagan to Leonard Johnson, I guess, and it's to round up all the blacks. And it's already in place, everything in place. Then when Reagan got to be president, he amended it with Rex 84. And so when you understand that, we looking dead in effect right here. Because now all of a sudden, the hot spot is over there in this area where all these Latino people at. And all the hospitals over there is at capacity. You know what I'm saying? And so then you have to look at too, Esau being, he's about money. Like I said, Most High told us, don't loan money to people. Don't lend money. Don't be dealing with usury. Well, he's doing just the opposite. He done made all his fortune off of usury. So look at this right here when he says that Dago and Starr County residents asked them to celebrate this holiday weekend responsibly by sheltering in place, avoiding gathering more than 10 people, right? Wearing face masks, especially and social distance. So you got to think about the money being made off of the masks. And the Mexicans going to get the masks. So, and then look at all the people already buying masks. That's major money. That's like Christmas, because they created that. They make a killing every year off Christmas. And so here they is and concocted all this stuff right here and got all these people running buying masks. That's all you see on YouTube and eBay is all different type of masks you can buy. They're making a killing off of it. So anyway, to continue on with that, it says, I don't know if I'm saying this word right, but it's spelled Hdalgo. Hidalgo County and Starr County, which are located in the Rio Grande Valley, are home to more than 90,000 people. See what I'm saying? Think of that. And the people buying masks. Hospitals in the region also put out a statement that they have reached or are at critical capacity levels. The health system CEO, Manny Villa, said that their hospitals are now at 102% and some at 101% capacity. Okay, in another case, just in another area over in Florida, says infectious disease specialist says Florida is heading a million miles an hour in the wrong direction. She added, however, that the people are not properly following the rules and is playing a role in the rising cases of COVID-19 in the area. It's absolutely sad, a saddest thing, the most unnecessary situations that we are finding ourselves in. This lady, Dr. Aline Marty, said, and it's behaviorally driven. So we know who reside in Florida. And we know what the Bible tells us about Japhet, how that he's not a people. And so Trump defying or wearing a mask, he won't wear a mask. These people following his lead. Trump won Florida by a landslide. So they everything Trump do, they do. Trump ain't wearing no mask. They ain't wearing no mask. They disregarding COVID-19 just like he disregarded it. And the lady telling you right here, that's causing havoc all over is a hot spot. Because they acting as if the COVID-19 ain't there, but it's there. And it's wreaking havoc. Okay, and then another one more current event is that I don't know if anybody heard about Trump, the Mount Rushmore thing. All these Antarctic, and these people, Antifa people, are tearing down all these monuments. Now they headed toward Mount Rushmore. And Trump just had a speech there yesterday saying that they ain't gonna tear down Mount Rushmore, and they got all these people, Caucasians, Trump supporters, got the road blocked off to get to Mount Rushmore, and they out there, disregarding the nobody with no mask on. They're giving out masks, but nobody won't wear them. Trump don't have a mask on, and they got this big old gathering of Trump supporters at Mount Rushmore to stop the people from demolishing it or destroying it, demoing it. Okay. Like I said, they got the road blocked off and to the place. Then one of the main things he said, I was listening to the video, he said that he evoked Andrew Jackson. And I hope everybody knows who Andrew Jackson is. Now, he's a redneck out of Mississippi that was president. And he came in right after Lincoln. They killed Lincoln, then they put him in office. And everything that Lincoln had done, he turned it, just like Trump doing with Obama. Lincoln had gave land, 40 acres of a mule out to a bunch of people. Andrew Jackson came in and overturned all that. And so that's just the first person name he evoked at the speech at the Mount Rushmore with Andrew Jackson. Ain't that something? That gave man 40 acres of mule. Ain't that something?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Right. So I mean, you go check that video out. Like I said, it's Trump defends Mount Rushmore. Okay. And so with that being said, anybody else have any current events they want to bring up? Comments?
Yeah, this is Zaire. Did you all see the video? It's called Faces Behind the Pandemic. It says African leaders exposes. So apparently, or did you anybody see it, hear it?
Yeah, I saw I clicked it on there, but I didn't watch all. I didn't watch it all. I guess I'll go back and watch it now.
Yeah, I didn't catch it from the beginning, but basically the president of Ghana is saying that I guess a spy or somebody went to a meeting and they got a recording where they have planned it all. Even they said in September and October it's supposed to get bad again, and they told everything. It's laid out. So to me, so to me, if people, he said spread it. In other words, let everybody hear what he is saying because he's got documented. Once you hear it, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so I think that's something for everybody to listen to when and if you get a chance. So.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna watch it when I get off here. But yeah, because that's something else because like I said, when you look at they setting up everything. They've taken us. They've hurting us, leading us to Africa. And so, based on what you just said, and then what Dr. Arcana said was that August, September time frame is when these heads of state supposed to be coming to South Carolina. And then they're saying that 5 airplanes supposed to be leaving out of 5 different cities in America in August. So that's you can see they got all their ducks in a row. Because that's it's like they wrapping this COVID-19 up to the point where it's gonna get so bad. Then that's when America's gonna leave. I mean, the Black Americans leave. So they got it all plotted out, you know. Yeah, so yeah, that's something. I'm gonna watch that though. So anybody else got anything else? Okay, so we're gonna go into the Sabbath class, and so I got a lot of images and all that to you know. So, but I want to show y'all something before we get started though. You know, the images that you be seeing, you know, I gotta print them off of here go one. This see, this is what you're gonna see right now. That's hard. That's the God in Egypt. You know what I'm saying? And so I gotta print that. I gotta get that in order to enlarge it. It's $10. So every time you see an image, $10 I done spent. It's hard right here again. So I gotta get all this stuff enlarged. Anyway, they go where the Trinity came from. That's what I was telling you, AJ, about understanding Egypt. See, that go to Trinity. That comes out of Egypt. And like I said, the Edomites was in Egypt. They came in Egypt with Ptolemy. Anyway, so all these images right here, you see all these images I got it's $10 a check for each one of them. And then, so yeah, anyway, so the name of the class today is I'm revisiting Jeremiah 29:14 and in Israel's return to Negro land. And so started out, I'm gonna read that verse, you know. Since I'm revisiting this because since we got this, we got a better venue, and so I'm just gonna revisit it, put it out there so people can, when this stuff start coming up, we got something with a lot more clarity in it that they can reference. So I'm in Jeremiah 29:14, and the verse that I'm dealing with says, "And I will be found of you, said the Lord, and I will turn away your captivity, and I will gather you from all the nations and from all the places whither I have driven you, said the Lord, and I will bring you again into the place in which I caused you to be carried away." So, like I said before, he's telling us that wherever he's, and like I said, he changed not. So wherever whatever prophecy it is that comes upon Israel, and they taken out of their land for being disobedient, wherever they at, when the prophecy catch up with them, when he get ready to return them, he gonna bring them back to that same location. And then from there, you know, whatever he have to do, he gonna do. But he's gonna, wherever they was taken from to go into captivity, and they've been in like 14 or 15 different captivities, wherever they was at, they got to be taken back there. That's how the Most High work. And he's telling you that right here in Jeremiah 29:14. So I'm gonna start. I'm gonna read Jeremiah 29:10-19. So you know the people that are watching, the viewers, and the people out there in YouTube land won't call me a plucker and say I'm plucking verse 29-14 out and making something out of it that it ain't. So I'm gonna read Jeremiah 29:10-19. And we'll go some verses up and some verses under. So Jeremiah 29:10 says, "For thus says the Lord, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good words toward you and causing you to return to this place." So he said, we know that Jeremiah the one told them Nebuchadnezzar was coming. And Nebuchadnezzar came, just like Jeremiah said, and he used his daughter host Nebuchadnezzar to take them, burnt down the temple, burned down the king house and everything, and took the choice, the good fig, and took them back to Babylon. But they was the prophecy that Jeremiah gave them caught up with them in the land of Israel. And he tells them right here in verse 1, "But thus says the Lord, that after 70 years accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good words toward you and causing you to be returned to this place." So he bring the judgment And then he come back, and because they're his children, he come back and he showed kindness to them and bring them back. But he got to judge them. So 11 said, "For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, said the Lord, thoughts of peace, not of evil, to give you an expected end. Then shall you call upon me." Remember our situation now. Then shall you call upon me, you shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. So he's telling you that you got to go pray to him. You can't go pray to an idol or go pray to somebody else. You got to pray to him. That's why it's apparent, the Most High, it becomes apparent that he tells you, seek him in the latter days where we are now and find him. You got to find him, the same God that our forefathers dealt with. And then when we find him and seek him and pray to him, he's gonna do what he said in Jeremiah 29:14. So 12 says, "Then shall you call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you, and ye shall seek me and find me when ye shall search for me with all your heart." So, like I said, this stuff is self-explanatory. You can't search for somebody and you already know who they is. You already know where they at. Why you searching for them if they're already out in the open? You know where they at. If you're searching for them, they lost. You can't find them. You ain't dealing with them. So 13 says, "You shall seek me, find me, and when you search for me, you with all your heart, and I will be found of you, said the Lord, and I will turn away your captivity. I will gather you from all the nations and from all the places whither I have driven you, said the Lord, and I will bring you again into the place which I caused you to be carried away captive." See, so this ain't been plucked out of scriptures. 15, "Because ye have said, the Lord hath raised up prophets in Babylon. Know that thus saith the Lord, the King that sitteth upon the throne of David, and all the people that dwelleth in this city, and all your brethren that are not gone forth with you into captivity. Thus says the Lord of hosts, behold, I will send upon them the sword, famine, pestilence, and I will make them like a vile fig that cannot be eaten, and they are so evil, and I will persecute them with the sword, with famine, pestilence, and will deliver them to be removed in all the kingdoms of the earth, to be a curse and an astonishment and a hissing, a reproach among all the nations where I have driven them." So what we reading right here is Deuteronomy 28. It's the same scenario, same playbook. He said in 19, "Because they have not hearkened unto the words, saith the Lord, which I sent unto them by the servants of prophets, rising early, sending them, but ye would not hear, saith the Lord." So they ended up in Babylon because they wouldn't hear and they wouldn't obey. We ended up over here because we wouldn't hear and we wouldn't obey. And so they was dealing with the Lord of hosts then. And he the one delivered them. So the Lord of hosts is the one that scattered us. Our forefathers, our descendants that came over here on slave ships. So it's him that's got to gather us and bring us back. So it's him we got to pray to. And that's why he's telling you, search the scriptures and find him, because of the powers that be in Israel's brethren, Esau, and then got hold of our records and hoodwinked the records and gave us an idol. And that's why it's mandatory, so many Israelites getting caught up with the fact that they're Israelite, not understanding that, they're just like baking a cake. You got the milk and the eggs, but you got to have the flour in order to make the cake. So you can't. We ain't going nowhere until we get. We deal with our Redeemer, the actual Redeemer that the Creator Yahweh gave us. And so it's like I said, once you start dealing with these scriptures and getting the right information and going to the right places in these books, you begin to see that we've been hoodwinked and our Redeemer has been hid from us. We got to search the scriptures and find it. Okay, so with that being said, I was going to go to to get started. I want to kind of backtrack a little bit. Then I'm gonna come forward and I'm gonna deal with these images because, like I said, I come to find out these images is, they speak 1,000 words in just one image. So I'm gonna start with Hosea chapter 9. Hosea 9 and 11. Just like a recap, it didn't come up to where I'm going. Okay. So what I'm reading now is Hosea 9 and 9:11. We got this episode that we're doing now on Wednesday nights. It's called Uncomfortable Conversation with a Non-Messianic Hebrew Israelite. And so I'm tying all this stuff together so it makes sense. And I'm overlapping some stuff just to get it right so we can go forward. So it's Hosea 9:11. This is a prophecy, like I said before, that so many people seem to not understand. It says, "In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old." So just like I just read in Jeremiah 29:14 that he's gonna come and he's gonna return us to the place where he got us from. The same thing with this prophecy. It's another prophecy. He's gonna raise up the tabernacle of David, and he's gonna and for the whole world to see. So with that being said, I'm gonna show you these images. Okay. So here go the prophecy right here. It says right here. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. Right? And then we're looking at it right here. It's the tabernacle of David. It's an aerial view for everybody to see. With all the AI technology we have today, there it is. And so here we go, the wall. You can see the remnant of the wall that was around there. So these people then raise this up, and there the tabernacle is right there. That we've been reading about. We're looking at it in real time. So he raised it up, but he's going to cause it just like you see around there. It looks like a desert. This the same land that where Adam was at, but Most High caused it to be desolate. So let's look at that right quick. I don't want. I'm going to make everything plain. So I'm in Daniel right quick. Kind of reiterating stuff. It's Daniel 9:25. It says, know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks, 62 weeks, and the street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublesome times. And after 62 weeks shall the Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the Prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood. And unto the end of wars and desolations are determined, and he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifices and the oblations to cease. And for the overspreading of abomination, he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation. And at the time, as it determined, he shall be poured upon the desert. So we see that it's desert. So what I want to show you now, we kind of went over this before, but so what I want to show you right now is the scenario you had that we had up until now was that we waiting on the Antichrist and all that, and that it's they're waiting on the third temple to be built. Well, this is right here is Zerubbabel temple. And we know that before this temple, Solomon had a temple. So here goes the Solomon temple, then this temple, the second temple. And so and then Herod got a temple. So that the third temple already been built. They waiting on the third temple when Herod built the temple. The Edomites built the temple. This is Rubel temple that nobody seems to know anything about. And so let me go to deal with that right quick. So we just read in Jeremiah 29 that they went to Babylon for 70 years, right? Let me read it. Jeremiah 29, it says, man, we're going somewhere. Jeremiah 29 and verse 10 says, for thus says the Lord, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good words toward you and causing you to return to this place, right? So let's look at that. So go to Jeremiah 25 and 12. Jeremiah 25 and 12 says, this is the prophecy right here. It says, I'm starting at verse 9. Behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, said the Lord, and Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant, and I will bring them against this land and against its inhabitants thereof, and against all this nation round about, and I will utterly destroy them and make them an astonishment and a hissing and a perpetual desolation. Like I said, it's nothing new under the sun. This same thing we in now. We're in the same predicament now from disobedience. 10. Moreover, I will take from them the voice of mirth and the voice of gladness and the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride and the sound of the millstone and the light of the candle. And this whole land shall be a desolation and an astonishment. And these nations shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years. So we see right here. So after 70 years, when he's going to come and he's going to do what he said he's going to do. So let's go to Haggai right quick. I'm trying to bring you up to speed, because what I'm showing you ain't what's been told to you by powers that be in the seminary and the Catholic Church and the Muslims. So I'm in Haggai chapter 2. Verse 20. And so when you see the word Messiah only means the anointed one. And so you have two anointed ones in Israel. You got the king out of David's lineage. Most High have a covenant with David, and it's always a king going to be on the throne out of David's lineage, and he's anointed. And you have the high priest. The Most High have a covenant with Aaron, and it's always going to be a priest, a high priest out of Aaron's lineage that's going to be over the temple, and he's anointed. So all the anointed Messiah means is anointed one. So when they in Babylon and they have to return back to Jerusalem, they have to have the king and the high priest in place in order for them to go back. They have to have those two anointed ones in place. So let's go to Zechariah right quick before I read Haggai. Zechariah chapter let me get Zechariah chapter 6, verse. I'm starting at verse 9. It says, "And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Take of them of the captivity." That's the captivity of the 70 years in Babylon. These gotta excuse these names. I might not be pronouncing them right. Hedadiah, Tobiah, and Jedediah, which are come from Babylon, and come thou the same day and go into the house of Josiah, the son of Zephaniah, then take silver and gold and make crowns, and let them two crowns. It says, and make crowns and set them upon the head of Joshua, the son of Zedekiah, the high priest. So the 70 years is almost up. So the Lord of hosts is telling Zechariah to go and get these men, these craftsmen, and make these two crowns. He's going to identify the high priest and the king. So it says, we see he identified Joshua, the son of Jedediah, Josedek, the high priest. That's one. He said, speak unto him, saying, thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, behold, the man whose name is the branch, he shall grow up out of his place, and he shall build the temple of the Lord. So he says, behold, the man whose name is the branch. The branch of what? He got a covenant with David. The branch, the son, is a son always given out of David's lineage. So he already put one crown, because they getting ready to leave Babylon. He put a crown on Joshua, son of Joseph head. Now he's looking for the other one, the branch out of David. And he says that he shall grow up out of his place. So he's been growing up all this time in Babylon. And then he's gonna Zechariah got to put this crown on his head. And once he do that, he's gonna go back to Jerusalem and he's gonna build a temple. This is a temple he built right here. He built that temple right there when they went back. Okay, we're gonna see who that is. Let's go to Zechariah 4. Zechariah chapter 4 says, and the angel of all this stuff being orchestrated by the Most High and his angels in heaven. It's because they'd already been prophesied. So they bringing it to pass. So chapter 4 says, and the angel that talked with me came again and waked me in, as a man that is waking out of his sleep. So why is he doing this? He dealing with them through dreams and visions, rising early and sending them. They're orchestrating all this. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I said, I have looked, and behold, a candlestick all of gold with a bowl upon the top of it, and the 7 lamps thereon, 7 pipes to the 7 lamps which are upon the top thereof, and 2 olive trees by it, one upon the right side of the bowl, and the other upon the left side of thereof. So I answered and spake unto him, to the angel that talked with me, saying, what are these, my Lord? So we're going to find out later on what they are, but I'm going to tell you right now, these are 2 anointed ones that's in the Holy of Holies on the Day of Atonement, every once a year, the king and the high priest. And we see he already anointed one of them, Joshua. Verse 4 says, so I answered and spake to the angel that talked with me, saying, what are these, my Lord? Then the angel that talked with me answered and said unto me, knowest thou not what these be? And I said, no, my Lord. Then he answered and spake unto me, saying, this is the word of the Lord unto Zerubbabel. This your other anointed one. Zerubbabel is out of the lineage of David. He growed up in Babylon in the captivity. Now he's being singled out by heaven, by the Lord of hosts and these angels, not by me. So he says, then he answered me and spake unto me, saying, this is the word of the Lord unto Zerubbabel, saying, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord of hosts. Who art thou, O great mountain, before Zerubbabel? Thou shalt become a plain, and he shall bring forth the headstone thereof with shouting, grace, grace unto grace. So my question is, what you do with a headstone? You put a headstone on them at the very corner of a building to distinguish the building. The building is the temple, the second temple. Nebuchadnezzar and his Lord of hosts Nebuchadnezzar tore it out and burned down the first one. They burned down Solomon's temple. So they didn't anointed these 2 anointed ones, these messiahs, to go back and rebuild it. And this is it right here. Like I'm saying, nobody tell you about this, but I'm shining the light on it now. And so they came back and built this temple. And Zerubbabel was in charge of it. He's the king. He's the Messiah. That's in 9:25, in Daniel 9:25. Not Jesus. 9:25 is Zerubbabel. He's coming back to build this temple right here. So I'm gonna keep on reading. Then I'm gonna go to Haggai 8. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, not me, but the word of the Lord. The hands of Zerubbabel have laid the foundation of this house right here. This house. Say, if the hands of Zerubbabel has laid the foundation of this house, his hands also shall finish it, and thou shalt know that the Lord of hosts have sent me unto you. I'm going to read that again because I got to put some emphasis on that. The hand of Zerubbabel have laid the foundation of this house. His hands shall also finish it, And thou shalt know that the Lord of hosts hath sent me, not Jesus, not Yahushua, but the Lord of hosts. For who have despised the day of small things, for they shall rejoice and shall see the plummet in the hands of Zerubbabel with those 7. They are the eyes of the Lord, which run to and fro in the whole earth. I introduced you to them in our first episode of Uncomfortable Conversation with the Hebrew Israelite, non-Messianic Hebrew Israelite, who these 7 was. It says 11, then answered I and said unto him, what are these 2 olive trees upon the right side of the candlestick and upon the left side? And I answered again and said unto him, what be these 2 olive branches which through the 2 golden pipes empty the golden oil out of themselves? So just like he asked the question, that's what you need to be doing. So here go your answer. And he answered me and said, knowest thou not what these be? And I said, no, my Lord. Then said he, these are the 2 anointed ones, Messiahs. That's what Messiah means. I identified them to you. And like I said, I got to keep reiterating this. I ain't write this. It says, then said he, these are the 2 anointed ones that stand by the Lord of the whole earth. Notice the Lord of the whole earth. Who the Lord of the whole earth? The Lord of hosts. Michael, the archangel, the first one that the Most High formed. Yahweh abode is in heaven, in the heavens of heaven. This person right here, this being right here, is on the earth. He abides on the earth at Mount Zion. He inherited Mount Zion from the Lord, from Yahweh. Okay, so now, with that being said, I'm gonna go back to Haggai, chapter 2. I'm reading at verse 20. They in Babylon, and he's anointed Joshua the high priest, because it's mandatory. In order for them to go back, the high priest got to be in place, and the king, a seed out of David's lineage, got to be in place. Under us, a son is given. The government is upon his shoulders. So if they anointed Zerubbabel, he the Messiah. He the one's got to take them back. So verse 20 says, and again, the word of the Lord came unto Haggai. We just saw one prophet telling you that it's Zerubbabel. Now we're dealing with Zechariah. Now we're dealing with Haggai. He's going to tell you the same thing. And again, the word of the Lord came to Haggai in the 4th and 20th day of the month, saying, speak to Zerubbabel, governor, which is king of Judah, saying, I will shake the heavens and the earth. Look at our position right now and our predicament. Just like he shook the heavens and earth right here, he getting ready. We see him in the process of shaking it now. It says, speak to Zerubbabel, governor of Judah, saying, I will shake the heavens of the earth. He didn't say speak to Jesus. He said speak to Zerubbabel. They tell you Daniel 9:25, that's Jesus. But he says right here, speak to Zerubbabel, this the Messiah, governor of Judah, saying, I will shake the heavens and the earth, and I will overthrow the thrones of kingdoms, and I will destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the heathen, and I will overthrow chariots and those that ride in them, and the horses and the riders shall come down, everyone by the sword of his brother. In that day, said the Lord of hosts, I will take thee, O Zerubbabel. You probably don't know this character. My servant, the son of Shethar, said the Lord, and I will make thee a signet, for I have chosen thee, said the Lord. So Shethar is Zerubbabel's father. Shethar is out of David's lineage. So when you follow the lineages, you're gonna see that Zerubbabel is out of David's lineage, and he's the one that was chosen for this particular time to build a temple. And like I said, nobody seems to know about this temple. So we're gonna go to Daniel 9:25 and see what happened to this temple right here. I'm in Daniel 9:25. Daniel 9:25 says, know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem unto the Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks, 62 weeks, and the street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublesome times. So I mean, you know, you probably flooded from this information I'm bringing forth. But so I'm gonna shine. I gotta take my time and shine light on this. It says that know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment. Let me give you the commandment right quick before I move forward. The commandment is right here in Ezra chapter 1. Cyrus, he was prophesied about 500 years before he came. And so chapter 1 of Ezra chapter 1. Now, in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah that connected dots. It puts you right in the place where you need to be at. Geographically and doing history, the time in history. He says, the word of the Lord came by the mouth of Jeremiah. The Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom and put it in writing, saying, thus says Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord God of heaven, hath given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he hath charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem, which is in Judea. Just the house right here. Right? They in Babylon. Cyrus just took over the Chaldeans. He just conquered the Babylon, the second beast, and came on the scene. And he using this man, this Cyrus, to return the Israelites back to Jerusalem. And he says, who is among you of all his people? His God be with him. Let him go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judea, build the house of the Lord God of Israel. He is God, which is in Jerusalem. And whosoever remaineth in any place where ye sojourn, let the men of his place help him with silver, with gold, with goods, with beasts, besides the freewill offering for the house of the Lord that is in Jerusalem. Okay, it said 5 said, then rose up the chief of the fathers of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests and the Levites, and all them whose spirit God had raised to go up to build the house of the Lord, which is in Jerusalem. So what I want to shine a light on is, just like this happened, you look at it happen right now. You shouldn't be surprised looking at me, because he says right here, then rose up the chief of the fathers of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests and the Levites, with all those whose spirit God raised to go up and build the house of the Lord, which is in Jerusalem. So I ain't doing nothing no different than my forefathers did. You know, and I ain't here on a whim. Okay, he says, and all they that were about them stripped in their hands with vessels of silver and with gold and with goods and with beasts and with precious things, besides that was really offered. Also Cyrus, king of Persia, brought forth the vessels of the house of the Lord, which Nebuchadnezzar had brought forth out of Jerusalem and had put them in the house of his gods. Even these did Cyrus, king of Persia, bring forth by the hands of Mithra, the treasurer, numbered them unto Sheshbazzar, the prince of Judah. So let me give you something. Let me give you something that's gonna help you. So Daniel, all of them had captive names. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, all of them, they got their name changed. Daniel's captive name was Belteshazzar. Well, who is this Sheshbazzar right here? Sheshbazzar is Zerubbabel. Sheshbazzar is his captive name. And it also says after that, the prince of Judah. So now let's go to Daniel 9:25 again. It says, know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the prince. That's what Cyrus brought the gold and all that out to, was the prince of Judah. Sheshbazzar, which is out of this lineage of David. We just saw Zechariah and Haggai told you he was going to use Zerubbabel, the king, the governor of Judah, put a crown on his head to lead the people back to lead them back to Jerusalem. So I wasn't intending to talk about this, but I'm going to talk about it. So I'm going to ask you a question. At that time, the mode of transportation was what? The mode of transportation was donkeys, right? And they traveled on donkeys. So let me give you something right quick. Okay. So here we go. Right here. This is how they got back. When he gave them that, we're gonna go back to this is how they traveled right here. So let's look at it. So we're gonna go to back to Ezra right quick. We might be here a little bit over 2 hours because I gotta go all in on this. So back in Ezra, we saw in chapter 1 that he used his treasure and he brought out all the stuff they had taken from the temple and brought them to Sheshbazzar, which is Zerubbabel, because he's in charge. He got to go back and rebuild the temple. And we so you go to Ezra chapter 2. Now it said it says, now these are the children of the province that went up out of the captivity. So he returned to captivity of those which had been carried away, whom Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had carried away under Babylon and came again unto Jerusalem and Judah, everyone unto his city, which came with Zerubbabel. And there go Joshua. See? So Zerubbabel is Zerubbabel is Sheshbazzar. They mentioned Sheshbazzar over here in chapter 1, verse 8. But when they're leaving out, they got Zerubbabel with Joshua. But notice also that Nehemiah is with them too. But they seem to allude, don't show you all this stuff. So Zerubbabel is the one going back to build the temple. So they're on their way back. So I'm asking you, what's their mode of travel? This is their mode of travel. So now let's go to Zechariah right quick. Because we was just in Zechariah, and I'm going to read that before I read what I'm going to show you. So I'm in chapter 4 of Zechariah, and it says, Zechariah. So he's speaking to the angel. Every one of these books that you deal with, the prophet is dealing with the angels. So in this particular instance, Zechariah dealing with the angels. He's giving us revelations. So Zechariah says in verse 10, for whoever despises a day of small things, for they shall rejoice and see the plummet in the hands of Zerubbabel, not Jesus the Christ or Yahushua. With those 7, they are the eyes of the Lord which run to and fro in the whole world. So Zechariah with him. Zechariah existed at the same time when Zerubbabel existed. Zechariah came out of Babylon with him after the 70 years. Now, let's go to Zechariah chapter 9. And I'm gonna show you a lie in broad daylight. So it says 9. You always giving this verse in the church. Zechariah 9:9. Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, thy king, Zerubbabel, cometh unto thee. He is just, having salvation, lowly, riding upon an ass. Come on, right here. Riding upon an ass, upon the coat of an ass. That's how he came back. The people waiting on him to come back. They didn't took this story and superimposed it and put it over there with JC. But when you read the whole scenario and look at the whole thing with the proper information and the proper person dealing with it and showing it to you, we see that Zerubbabel, Nehemiah, Haggai, all of them came out of Zerubbabel, out of Babylon, out of the 70-year captivity with Zerubbabel, the Messiah. Okay, let's look at it. So, and I'm showing you all this for a reason. You know, like I said, we got it on. It's going to be recorded, so you can go over it 1,000 times if you want to. That's why I'm doing this. So, I'm in Daniel 9:25. We're not off track. 9:25 says, know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks, and 62 weeks, and the street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublesome times. And I showed you Nehemiah. Let me give you this right here. Because when you come, make sure you got your ducks in a row, because I ain't gonna let you get away. So I'm in Nehemiah. I showed you, I just read what Nehemiah came out with Zerubbabel. So I'm in I'm in Nehemiah chapter 6. And I'm connecting the dots for you. You know what I'm saying? Don't take offense to me. I'm just connecting the dots for you. So I'm in Nehemiah chapter 6, verse 15. So the wall was finished in the 25th day of the month of Elul, and I'm messing that word up, in the 50 and 2 days. And it came to pass that when all the enemies heard thereof, that the heathens that were round about saw these things, they were much cast down in their own eyes, and they perceived that this work was wrath of our God. So they go to wall. So the Most High made a point to smash all these Edomites and these powers that be that lied to us. He says in Daniel 9:25, know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the prince, shall be 7 weeks, 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall. The wall, I just showed you the wall. Nehemiah was at the wall, fighting against the heathens round about to rebuild the wall. So let's look at it. What wall? This wall. Right here. It was in a bad state from what the Chaldeans had done. Now we see it's in the same predicament again. The wall been torn down. So the Most High had then told us, and he done prophesied to us, he gonna raise up the ruins of David right here. And close up the breaches there. What's the breaches? The wall down. He gonna close all that back up. We already see the beginning stages of it right here. They done raised it up. See, in the process of Israelites over there right now. They're the ones that dug this up. So he says that, and the wall in troublesome times. That was during the time of Nehemiah. And there go the temple. Now, where I'm going now is 26. After 62 weeks shall the Messiah be cut off. They stopped it. They stopped the building for 2 years with Zerubbabel. And then they searched the archives, and Darius found out that Cyrus had indeed sent Zerubbabel back to rebuild the temple. And he started it back. So he was cut off. They rebuilt it. And they stayed there for over 300 or 400 years. Then 26. And after 62 weeks shall the Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. And the people and the prince that shall come shall destroy the city, the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood. And unto the end, death, wars, desolations are determined. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifices and oblations to cease. And for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even unto the consummation. And that determined shall be poured upon him. So he'll make it desolate. So now we see how it became desolate. But who made it desolate? It wasn't Titus and Vespasian in 70 AD. Let me show you who it was. I'll be with you in a minute. Okay, so here we go right here. He says in 26, Daniel 9:26, that he says, and after 62 weeks shall the Messiah be cut off, but not for himself, and the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. Right here, this guy right here destroyed it. Epiphanes. And like I said, all the things they're telling you the Antichrist is going to do that's supposed to come already happened right here. See that? He outlawed Judaism. He looted the temple I just showed you right here. he looted the temple, right? And he looted the temple, built a Greek city, a citadel to control. You can find all this out in First Maccabees, the first chapter of First Maccabees. It show you all this, and then the persecution of the Jews, then the abomination that make it death that we just read in 9 right here. They got you thinking it's supposed to happen in the future. I'm gonna read it. 27. 9, Daniel 9:27, and he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and he shall, in the midst of the week, shall cause the sacrifices and the oblations to cease, and for the overspreading of the abomination, he shall make it death. There it is, right here. The abomination. This guy here done all that. It's already happened, right? So I would just want to make sure I show you that. So what has happened is he got your timeline and all that off. Your whole timeline on everything that happened to the Israelites as a people. They got the timelines off, and you can't. And the reason being is to give you an idol that they gave you at the Council of Nicaea when they gave you Jesus. They reconstructed the whole scenario for you, for you to be worshiping the wrong God. And he wants you, our God, the Lord of hosts, is telling us to search the scriptures out in the last days, which is where we at right now, and find him, because they didn't overlaid him. They didn't took him out the scriptures. Okay, so I'm gonna get into that a lot more on my other show, but I had to go into that because of I know people, these diehard Christians, going to come and say I got gaps in the story, but so I gave you the whole scenario. So I'm going to I just talked about Antioch Epiphanes, and so in 143 BC is when this Antioch Epiphanes came. That's when he ran the Israelites out. And when he ran the Israelites out, this the route they took. Right here. They took this route right here. Excuse me. They took this route right here. It's the route they took to get to from here. They left Jerusalem, they went across the top of Africa, and they ended up down here in this area right here. They stayed right here for a little while. And like I was saying before, when you go to Second Ezra and they make you telling you about the 10 tribes went to Asheroth, and they saying Asheroth is America, Asheroth up here. So they left here, went up here for a while, and then they came down and settled up. This is the west coast of Africa. And so what we're dealing with is Jeremiah 29:14. Let me read it again. So I had to go around the beam to come back to get this to make sense of this. So it says, Jeremiah 29:14 says, and I will be found of you, said the Lord, and I will turn away your captivity, and I will gather you from the nations and from all the places where I have driven you, said the Lord, and I will bring you again into the place where I caused you to be carried away from. So this is where they came and got us from. Our brother Esau came and got us. Right here. We was on the west coast of Africa, called Negro Land. All right. So with that being said, I got some more images for you. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Okay, so like I said, right here, they came across, they left here during the time of Antioch Epiphanes, and they came across here. He ran them out in 143 BC. They came across here, came down here. They stayed up here for a while because this is Sahara Desert. That's one of the most treacherous terrains in the world. So they was up here for a while. Then they finally eventually came down through here. Most I put it on their hearts. They came down through here and they settled down here. And so the history of all these kingdoms over here, the Mali Empire, all that, Mansa Musa, all those people came from these Israelites. They settled here. And they was here for until the time for the prophecy to overtake them. Deuteronomy 28 and 64, when they came with the ships. And they brought them to America, where here go this I got this upside down. Excuse me. Oh, bro. So here we go. Bear with me. Yeah, so that's Negro land. Let me see what I got right here. Yeah. Okay, so now we see right here, this Negro land right here. Both of these. This area where this area right here has just been superimposed. That's Negro land. So, right? So now we see why right here. Can you see that? They had Negroes. See that? Negroes for sale. So back up until this point, we thinking that that's just some word they concocted and came up with. No, they said Negroes for sale because they came from Negro land. in the scriptures. They left from here, came across here, and in Negroes, Ebos, Hebrews, they came right over here, and then they was over here. And they existed over here for almost 1,500 years in Negro land. And they came and got us and brought us here. So when they came over here, they said Negroes, specifically identifying who we are, Negroes for sale, Hebrews. And they lied to the world, knowing that they was people of the book. Right? Okay? So, like I said, I want to make all this plain because I want all of it to connect dots when we do these episodes. So now we in 2020, and when I don't know if too many people know anything about it, but 2019, they had this big old thing going on in 2019 about the year of return, and we're gonna deal with that. Let me get some more images. Yeah, they got this lady called Dr. Arcana, and they got the president of Ghana. You know, they're using them to orchestrate this, but when you understand who the Lord of Hosts is and what he's capable of, he's behind the whole thing. And prophecy unfolding right in front of our faces, but we don't seem to understand what it is. But I'm making it plain for you today. And from here on out. So here we go right here. So we see this lady right here, Dr. Arcana. She's the one they using her behind the whole thing to orchestrate us going back to Africa, back to Negro land that I just showed you. Back Deuteronomy 28 and 14. So what we're looking at is the Most High used Jeremiah to prophesy to our forefathers that they was going into captivity, and he was going to come and get them and bring them back to where he got them from. And so we see the same thing happening now. He fulfilled all that. And so we see right now that's happening in front of our faces, but because of the information being skewed, we can't put the dots together. But knowing the Most High, he gonna bring somebody to get connected dots for you. You ain't gonna be in the dark when these things start happening, because Daniel did the same thing. He referred back to what Jeremiah had told him. He went and looked in the books of Jeremiah and looked and saw that he was at 69 years, and he had prophesied that he was gonna be there 70 years. And lo and behold, Cyrus showed up and made the proclamation and said that they was going back. The Most High told him to let them go back. Well, we see it all being orchestrated right now. You go, this woman right here. And then you got these, like I said, the year of return last year, this guy, president of Ghana, they orchestrating the whole thing right in front of our face. They created this right here in 2015 to 2024. Look at the time frame now. 2015 to 2024, the International Decade for People of African Descent. And they're going, it's right on the timeline. They want us back in Africa. And the Most High already prophesied that to us already. Like I said, here go another one right here. Just look this stuff up. International Decade for People of African Descent. It's a decade they've already been proclaimed. And you wondering why all this stuff manifesting in front of our faces all of a sudden, because of way back in 2015, they declared people of African descent. This whole decade is geared toward us. But when you understand who Esau is, he doing all this because he got a bigger plan. He's all about money, And so, with that being said, let me see how much time we got. Yeah. So with that being said, I want to go move forward. You might not be convinced right now, so I'm gonna go a little further with you. Okay. Okay, so all over Africa right now, they building all these different types of cities all over the place. I'm gonna give you some examples. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna expound on this a little more on my other show, but right here, see these ghost cities, all these cities, nobody in them, and the people sleeping on this, but they all over Africa right now. So, like I was showing you, way back in 2015, even 2011, they had the year of people of African descent, and then they followed up with the year of people of African descent with the decade. The 10-year period of people, which is 2015 to 2024, all this stuff is in place. See all these cities built. People talk about the ghost cities that's in China, but they got ghost cities all over Africa. And then they tell you that Africa is a bush. The people walk around barefooted. This is in Ghana. Right now as we speak, this is in Ghana. All this stuff being prepared to bring Israel back over there to Negro land, because Esau and the powers that be got a bigger plan for us. Right here, see this right here. All over the place. I'm gonna show you this in Moscow, this in Ghana, this in Africa, and I got some more. Let me get some more, couple more. Okay. Okay, so right here, this right here is what the big project they had going. It's almost complete. This is Echo Atlantis. What they did was they came right here. They started right here. This is the seashore. It's in Nigeria, and they came when they dug up soil out of the earth, out of the sea, brought it and dumped it over here, built this place right here. They go to plains, and then now this is what it looked like. You know what I'm saying? So all this stuff going on in Africa that we don't, average African American don't know nothing about. And they think that this lady right here, she just popped up out the blue. But she all part of the plan because they build it over there while they got her being a spokesman. And like I said, a huge sign that we at that point would to return back from whence they got us from, and then from there we go back to the motherland. Is they had her today. We saw a video where she's on a billboard in New York, Times Square. So our time, our hand, the coronavirus, all that's all working together. Because you had so many African Americans, which we are Hebrew Israelites, are bound to this country. So they had to disembark us from the country. So that's what coronavirus is. To get you to make this place not desirable to you. So what you're actually experiencing and you're dealing with is you're dealing with prophecy right in front of your face. So with that being said, I'm gonna show you why they doing all this. Let me get a couple more videos, then we can go into Q&A. So yeah, like I said, Esau had plans to we've been misled because he got you thinking that the Antichrist is coming, and the Antichrist already came. And he can most high get ready to turn our captivity. But they think that more trouble coming, but it ain't no more trouble coming. He's getting ready to turn our captivity. So here we go right here. Let me show you this. Okay, so right here, we're gonna look at this and I'm gonna close it out. Okay, so the reason they're doing all that is right here. It's called the Road and Belt Initiative. It's in all over. If you know anything about Marco Polo, the old Silk Road, they taught us about history. This is it. They revived it. And notice all those cities I was showing you, they smart cities. See, they're in all these different countries. They building all these smart cities. And it's this right here, this network connecting it. Notice where it's at. It ain't over here in America. America ain't needed no more. So they return back over here to the lands of the Bible, the Old Testament. And they back over here. So they got all these smart cities. See China? Like I told you, he says that in Daniel, let me read it. Daniel. He described the four beasts. And they gave you one rendition of what it's saying, but I'm gonna show you the truth of the matter. It says in let me get it. I'm in Daniel 7. Daniel 7, starting at verse 15. So Gabriel coming to give Daniel the interpretation. He says, I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by, asked him the truth of all this. So he told me and made me know the interpretation of these things. These great beasts, which are four, or 4 kings which shall arise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even and forever. Then will thou know the truth of the 4th beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceedingly dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, and in which devoured and break in pieces and stomped the residue of his feet. So we've already, the world has already experienced the first 3 beasts. We're in the 4th beast right now. We're at the end of the 4th beast. And so he's telling you right here, then you will know the truth of the 4th beast. 20, verse 20. And the 10 horns that were in the head, and the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even that horn had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose looks were more stout than his fellows. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against him. That was Constantine. Until the ancient of days came and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. The time came and the saints possessed the kingdom. Thus he said, the 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all the kings, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. This is the verse I'm going to. And 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue the 3. So people tell you that these 10 horns are the 10 toes at the very end, but the 4th beast is divided up 10 different phases. 10 different kings going to rise out of the 4th beast. And where we at right now is that America was the 9th beast, and America came out of Great Britain, which was the 8th beast. America was the 9th beast. And then what they did was, when you track those companies and those corporations, the ones that have all the money, they've been following this beast. They've been jumping it. So from back in the late 80s and the early 90s, they sent all the corporations, Caterpillar, and all these companies that supported Hitler. When Hitler was on the scene, they all went to China. And now look what we're looking at. We're looking at China that emerged on the world scene, because the 9th beast is falling, and the last and final beast, the 10th beast, is rising up. This is it right here. And that's what all these smart cities, and that's why they want us over there, because they know the Most High already said, kingdom, it ain't gonna be Abraham's seed. Got to be there in order for the kingdom to be blessed. The only reason America was blessed, they brought the slaves here. Britain was blessed because they had the Negroes, the Hebrews there. So now they want to move the Hebrews because they the focal point, and they moving us back over here, which is this Road and Belt Initiative. And like I say, see right here, King. And this in Nigeria, I showed you the city Echo Atlantis. All these places got these smart cities. And I mentioned Singapore. I told you about how Singapore popped up on the world scene. That's because they building all of it up. It's Esau. This the road right here, and this the belt across the lane. The Road and Belt Initiative. But we know from scripture that this ain't gonna last but for a minute. And so what's really going on is Most High using this and the greed of the powers that be in Esau to get us back over there, thinking it's gonna be business as usual. But this place right here is only gonna last for a second. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna open it up for Q&A. Anybody got any questions? And like I said, the reason I did this was to I did this in order to enhance those other episodes that's be doing with the uncomfortable conversation with a non-Messianic Israelite, because a lot of stuff the people on Prophets of Awakening are already aware of. The viewers and the subscribers that's coming in is not up to par on it. So I did this video to bring a lot of people up to par and connect a bunch of dots. All right. So I'm opening up for questions or comments. Anybody got any questions or comments? What's up, AJ?
Well, I wanted to ask some. I thought Ms. Zaire had a question. In day 25, I just wanted to be clear for people who are listening. That flood was not referring to a flood of
Right,
water,
it's a flood
correct?
of the information. It's skewed out our information. Right, they flipped everything all
Right.
around. And it's like I say, if you want to really get adjusted to that, you have to go to First Maccabees. I can read it. I'm gonna read a little bit of it. Yeah, so I'm in First Maccabees, and it says when you're in Daniel 9:25, where I read it at 9:26, it says 9:26 said, and after 62 weeks shall the Messiah be cut off, but not for himself and the people of the prince that shall come. So just after Zerubbabel and them got back, they had built the temple and all that, and what they did was they went back to the same stuff they was doing that got them sent to Babylon. But this time, the Most High anger is at a full. You're not going to send them off like he did before. He's going to cast Israel off as a nation. That's why he said he brought this prince to destroy them and destroy them. And so I'm gonna pick it up in I'm in First Maccabees chapter 1. It came to pass. We read the prophecy. We read the prophecy over here in Daniel 9:25. He go to the prophecy coming to pass. It came to pass after Alexander of Macedon, the son of Philip, who came from the land of Checham, had utterly defeated Darius, the king of the Medes and Persians, that he reigned instead. Somebody phone doing the most. It says, he came from the land of Checham, had utterly defeated Darius, the king of the Medes and Persians, that he reigned in his stead, and he had before reigned over Greece. And he waged many wars and captured fortresses and slaughtered the kings of the earth. And he made his way to the ends of the earth and despoiled a multitude of nations. The whole earth was silent before him, and he became exalted, and his heart was uplifted. He mustered a very mighty army and ruled over the lands and rulers of the heathens, and they paid him tribute. Afterwards, he fell sick, and he knew that he was going to die. So he called his distinguished servants who had been brought up with him, and divided his kingdom among them while he was still alive. Alexander had reigned 12 years when he died. So what you have to understand about that is when you go back and do your research, Zephno was an Edomite, and Zephno was made. He went to Checham, which is the Macedonians to the Greeks, and they made him king over them. So Zephno is Philip's father, and Philip is Alexander's great father. So they Edomites that's ruling over the Greeks. So Zephno is Alexander's grandfather. That's the reason these people came to the Middle East. They want the land. They want to take the land from the Israelites. So and so when you understand that and do your research, Alexander didn't want to. He refused to go to Jerusalem. They wanted him to go, so they killed him. But they telling you he fell sick. But these people killed Alexander because he didn't want to go. They wanted him to go to Jerusalem, but he bypassed Jerusalem. That's when they killed him, poisoned him. They trick type poisoners. That's what they all do. That's what the 29th dynasty was doing. They master poisoners. They know how to poison you. They can poison you all kind of ways when they want you gone. So they poisoned Alexander and killed him. And so anyway, so after he died, the Edomites divided up his kingdom, and Ptolemy took Egypt and Judea. And so this is where we pick it up at. As Antiochus Epiphanes is out of the descendants of Ptolemy that ruled over Judea and Egypt. And it says right here, his servants succeeded him, each in his own dominion. After his death, they all put on crowns and did their sons after them for many years. And they did much evil on the earth. There sprang from them a sinful shoot named Antiochus Epiphanes, who I just showed you. The son of King Antiochus. He had been a hostage in Rome. and he became king in the 137th year of the Greek kingdom. And in those days there arose out of Israel lawless men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a treaty. Here go the treaty right here. The 7-year treaty that everybody waiting on, it already happened. Let us go and make a treaty with the heathen around us, for ever since the time we became separated from them, many misfortunes have overtaken us. The plan seemed good, this 7-year plan that everybody waiting on. The plan seemed good in their eyes, and some of the people went eagerly to the king, and he authorized them to introduce practices to the heathen, and they built a gymnasium. See this? This before Jesus came. There's a gymnasium in Jerusalem. They don't tell you all this. Say in Jerusalem, in the heathen fashion, and submitted to uncircumcision, and disowned the holy agreement, and allied themselves with the heathen and became slaves to wrongdoing. When his rule appeared to Antiochus to be established, he conceived in the idea of becoming king of the land of Egypt, so that he might reign over 2 kingdoms. So he entered into Egypt with a strong force and with chariots and elephants and cavalry and a great fleet. So what they're telling you is, once he got subdued Judea, he wanted to go where his cousins was at, because he wanted Egypt too. They all Edomites. So he went to go fight against them. But he'd have made a 7-year agreement with the Israelites. So let's look at that. It says, and he made a war on Ptolemy. See that? Ptolemy, that's not it's like 10 it's like 10 Ptolemies. But they come from the Ptolemy that originally received Judea and Egypt from Alexandria. It says, king of Egypt. And Ptolemy turned and fled before him, and many fell wounded. And they captured the walled cities in the land of Egypt, and he plundered the land of Egypt. After subduing Egypt, look at this. After subduing Egypt in the 140th year, Antiochus turned back and came up against Israel. So in the midst of the week, after he had went to Egypt and subdued Egypt, he turned back in the midst of the week. 3.5 years. Come on. It says, and they captured the walled cities in the land of Egypt, and he plundered the land of Egypt. And after subduing Egypt in the 143rd year, Antiochus turned back and came up against Israel and entered Jerusalem with a strong force. And in this area, see this, watch this. This how this temple ended up looking like this. Let me put it back up here. So this is the room of the temple. Okay. Let me find it right quick. Yeah. So this how the temple ended up back like this. So now you want this how it ended up like this. Desert. So it says, and in his arrogance, he went into the sanctuary, took the gold and the altar and the lampstand for the lights and all the furniture and all the table of presentation bread and the cups and the bowls and the gold censers and the curtains and the crowns, the 2 crowns I told you about that Zechariah had those men to build for Zerubbabel and Joshua. Said crowns and gold ornamentations on the front of the temple, and he stripped it all off, and he took the silver and the gold and the choice dishes, and he took the secret treasures which he had found. He took all of them and went back to his country and massacred the people and spoke with great arrogance. So this ain't Zerubbabel. I mean, this ain't Nebuchadnezzar and Nebuzaradan when they destroyed it during the time of Jeremiah. This after that, after Zerubbabel came back and built this temple. Then the Greeks came and did this right here. The second temple. Then Herod came in. The Edomites stole the land and built the Herod temple. Ain't no Israelites there. They want you to think it's Israelites there, but those are Edomites. Let's read that right quick. It says, I'm in the book of Obadiah, which no Edomite so-called Edomite historian wanted to read this. They avoid this chapter. It's only one chapter, Obadiah, and I'm reading out of chapter 10. It's one chapter. I'm in verse 10. It says, "For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, when the Greeks came, when Antiochus Epiphanes came, in the day that strangers carried away captive his forces, foreigners entered into the gates, cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was one of them. You're talking to Esau. You go to verse 6. How are the things that Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? So Esau hid these things, just like he hid our Redeemer from us. He was raised by Abraham too. So verse 12 says, but thou should not have looked on the day of thy brother, in the day that he became a stranger. That's when he left and went over to the west coast of Africa, when Antiochus Epiphanes ran him out. Neither should thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither should thou have spoken proudly in the day of their distress. Thou should not have entered into the gates of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, they should not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither should thou have stood in the crosshairs to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither should thou have delivered up those that did remain in the days of distress. There it is. Okay. Any more questions? Anybody have any more questions or comments? Everybody good?
I guess so. Oh,
No,
Miss Zaire.
sorry. Had to get her out of here. I have a few questions. Back to those smart cities.
Right.
It looks like they were in the northern parts of Africa.
Well, they got them. It's different parts. They're scattered all over. Like I was sure. Yeah, they have. When you go back and do the research on it, I think it's on. I got a video called Wakanda One and
Oh yeah.
Atlantis. Anyway, so it's telling you about how that they're gonna bring all the people back over there, but they're gonna bring them to an in-processing center, and then from the in-processing center, they're gonna send them out to different places, to these smart cities, and they spotted all over Africa. And like I said, they tied to this right here, this right here behind me, this Rolling Bell Initiative. They got these smart cities all over the the ancient world, because it's not over here. They leaving here. They leaving the West, and they going back over here. But like I said, they so slick till they can't understand. The Most High already prophesied this. They doing all this to get us back over there.
Okay.
Right.
So, there has to be a reason why. I mean, we know spiritually, but what's their intent? Is it to inhabit, establish economic development, or does they have some other ulterior motive?
Well, it's Esau behind it. The Rothschilds and all them, they greed. Most High, he's using their greed in order for them to they foolish. They're so greedy till he got prophecies. They have our records, but they so greedy. They trying to they can't see that they're actually doing what he said that was going to happen in the latter days. They returning us back to the land where they got us from.
Now, are they going to use their house Negroes to like be running those places like what's that guy named Sharpton?
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's in the video I was talking about. I keep on playing it all the time. Pastor Manny, Back to Africa, returning all the blacks back to Africa by Pastor Manny. Yeah, but we already see all that in operation now because everybody is saying what's going on with all these celebrities. All of a sudden, they voicing their opinion. They used to be scared to voice their opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So why now all of a sudden all of them coming out? Because they all part of it. They taking us back to. They want us back in Africa to build up this 10th and final incarnation of the fourth beast. In the book in Second Ezra, He tells you, he explained to Ezra in more detail about the fourth beast than what he did to Daniel that I just read. He explained to Ezra, he go in more detail. And he explained to you that those 10 horns are 10 kings in succession. One gonna rule after the other one. And so we see that now because we see how America branched out from Britain, came here, and America blew up. And then now we see they sent all the corporations to China, and now we see America in decline. It's a controlled demo job, and now China then rolls up. But what you have to understand is a beast. It's a woman that's riding on this beast, and the woman reaping all the benefits. That's Esau. They took the land of Israel. The false woman, the fake woman, that's in red, decked in red, controlling the beast. And she's sucking all the resources out of the fourth beast, and then he have enough understanding because he done bounced all around over the place. He know how to relocate. If you are all of the first three kingdoms, they stayed in one place and they failed. He done figured out how to take he got a blueprint. He take all the resources when after he done sucked up all the resources in that area, he relocate the beast. And like I said, we witnessing that. We witnessed that when we read history. When all the people came here to America, when they sent it was in 70 AD. Those were Edomites that was ran out of the land of Israel, and they was given safe passage to Spain. And all this stuff they couldn't expire. Came about over here started in Spain when the Queen Isabella of Spain, which is an Edomite, sent those 3 ships out by Columbus. That was the beast making a jump. And they came here to America, then they established America. And then from there, we see the beast making another jump. Because America is in decline. And they going to Africa now where they got all their resources from in the beginning to make America great. So now they're going to make the United States of Africa, and they sitting on the resources. Before they had to go in, and extract all the minerals and bring them here. Now they going over there and build the United States of Africa, and they sitting on the resources. They looking to make money hand over fist. And that's how the Most High using them because they greed. Yeah.
Okay, so now China's rule. How significant are they going to be in this here plan?
Well, they are a people that's being manipulated and used by Esau. So Esau we know who Japhet is. Esau manipulated and used Japhet. So you say, what are you talking about? The Ashkenazis. Let's look at it. You got Edomites, and then you got Ashkenazi. Ashkenazi are proselyte Jews. Abraham went and proselytized them, however you say that word, and coerced them into becoming Jews. They ain't the real Jew. The Jew, a Jew is an Edomite. An Israelite is us, the people that's over in America and that was scattered over the whole world. But a Jew is an Edomite that stole the land in 143 BC. There's a difference in an Israelite and a Jew.
Right.
And so these Jews converted these Japhet. That's who the Ashkenazi is. So I'm in Genesis chapter 10. It's a table of nations in Genesis chapter 10. It says 10:1. These are the generations of Noah, Shem, Ham, Japhet, and unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japhet, Gomer, Magog, Midian, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, Tyrus. The sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz. See that? That's who the Ashkenazi Jew is. He's a Gentile that's been converted by Esau. So let's go. I'm gonna give you a second witness on that. Malachi. Okay, I think it's Malachi. It might be Micah. Let me see that quick. Yeah, AJ, you know what that verse said when it says that though you sit yourself as an eagle in the nest. Oh yeah, here you go, Obadiah. It's in Obadiah. It says, the vision of Obadiah, thus says the Lord God concerning Edom. That's Esau. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, an ambassador is sent among the heathen. See that? So they went out. They went out to the heathen, which is the Gentiles, which is Japhet. They sent the ambassador, a contingent of people out to deal with them. He said, arise, let us go up against her in battle, go up against Israel. Went out to the Gentiles to get them to help them. And then 2, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, those are greatly despised. So these Edomites, it ain't that many of them. The majority, 90% of the so-called Jews are Ashkenazis. They've been converted. So he says, the pride of thine heart have deceived thee, those are dwellers in the cliffs of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that says in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle. That's the Greeks. America got the eagle. The Romans had the eagle. Them all Gentiles. It says, though thou set thy nest among the stars, this will I bring thee down, says the Lord. So the majority of the so-called fake Jews is Gentiles. It's only a small remnant that got all the money that's Edomites, like the Rothschilds and these the Rockefellers and all them, those so-called 13 families, them Edomites. That's the woman that's riding on the beast, on the 4th beast. The 4th beast, well, the 3rd and the 4th beast is Gentiles, because Greeks are Gentiles. And the Romans are Chechen, they Gentiles. Let me read that. Genesis chapter 10. I'm back in Genesis 10 again. It says, verse 3 says, the sons of Gomer, Ashkenazi. That's the majority of the Jews today. They out of Japhet and Ripha and Tomagog, and the sons of Javan, Elisha, Tarshish, Kitchum. Kitchum is the Romans, the 4th beast. But like the scriptures tell you, it's a woman that's controlling this 4th beast. And it's Esau. He stole the land back in 143 BC when the Greeks came in and the Epiphanes and destroyed the land of Israel and ran the remainder of the Israelites out. And they went, like I showed you on the map, they went over and ended up on the west coast of Africa. And so from that point on, Esau had got control of the land. He the one dictating everything. He orchestrated the whole return back to the land in 1948. They used Hitler to do that. And so you say, what are you talking about? Let me go to Malachi right quick and expound on that. So he says, in Malachi chapter 1, it says, the burden of the word of the Lord. And you have to ask yourself, if the light hadn't been shining on this stuff, you'll read right over it. But it's in chapter 1 of Malachi, it says, the burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, said the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? You see how Esau keep coming up? But he don't want you, he didn't took himself out the scriptures. He didn't finagle the scriptures to where this stuff don't resonate with you. He says, I love you, said the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, said the Lord? Yet I love Jacob. You got a problem with Esau. And I hated Esau. And I laid his mountain and his heritage to waste for the dragons of the wilderness. So where was he at when he did that? Verse 4. Whereas Edom said, look what he said, we are impoverished, but we will return. See that? we will return, build the desolate places. Well, where are the desolate places at? Right here. Jerusalem is the desolate places. So that's where he was at when he ran them out in 70 AD. They was giving safe passage to Spain, the Sephardic Jews. Okay? He says, whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. They shall call them the border of wickedness. Where the border at? And the people against whom the Lord have indignation. Your eyes shall see, and ye shall say, the Lord will be magnified from the borders of Israel. Right here. That's where they returned to in 1948. They orchestrated. They told the Most High right here in verse 4 when he ran them out that whereas Edom said we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desert places. So all this stuff, this history we've been looking at, it was Esau was concocting and behind the scenes orchestrating to get back in the land of Israel. And that's how they ended up back over there in 1948 through the 2 world wars. They finagled everything behind the scenes. He made these contracts, and they the ones orchestrated Pearl Harbor to get America involved in it. And if you go back in history, you understand that during the Revolutionary War, America was done. They was cooked until George Washington went to those Edomites up there. They still up there now. Boston, Massachusetts. All the area up there around New Hampshire, Vermont. That's where they at. And he went to them, they gave him money. They got a truckload of money, so they gave him money to finance his troops and to pay them and to get them food and raiment and all that they needed, and revive them. And so from that point on, they had control of America. That's why it's all Jewish symbols all over the $1 bill. And all the slave ships that came over to the west coast of Africa was owned by Jewish slave ships. They orchestrated the whole thing. And you have to understand that. The Most High asked that question. Obadiah verse 6. Do you understand the deep things of Esau?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Question.
Okay.
Okay, so everyone should know that the people that come from Jerusalem and that part of the world are dark-skinned people. So how is it that we have been, tricked into accepting when they show the Jews in Jerusalem their European? How is it that we came to accept that when we know that the people in that part of the world are not supposed to be European? They were repopulated, like you said, in 1948 with those people, right?
Right. So it goes back to, like I said, it's a witness to from what I've been saying from day one. The Lord of hosts says in Ezekiel 37 that he's going to raise up the whole house of Israel out of the ground. And he said, when he do that, you're going to know who he is. Well,
okay.
He told them 500 years before Cyrus came that Cyrus was coming. And then they ended up in the captivity in Babylon. And right at the end of 70 years, Cyrus showed up. So we see now, like you were just saying, he orchestrated all this stuff. He told them that he was going to return us back to whence we came from, the place where we stayed away from. We see that being orchestrated right now. And so what these people have done is they didn't hoodwink all that and got you reading. They start out young. Like I said, first of all, Esau killed off the generation of people that understood who they were. Then he got this system in place now. From 6 years old to 18 years old, he indoctrinates you.
Right.
And so that's why people so thrown on. They're not looking. And then on top of that, the Most High tells you in Deuteronomy 28 that he's going to watch over us and make sure we get hoodwinked. So you say, what are you talking about? He told Cyrus go and tell them to build me a house in Jerusalem. And Cyrus went and told him. So he's changing the mind. The Egyptians were beating the hell out of the Israelites for 430 years. Then all of a sudden, when it was time for them to go, he changed the mind for the Egyptians to where they started taking off their gold and their necklaces and earrings, giving it to the Egyptians.
Mm-hmm.
So he controlled. Look, he controlled our mind. He dumbed us down.
Right.
So we'll believe some garbage like that. When you're looking at it in plain sight in real time and you see it don't add up. But you still are acknowledging it and deal with it.
Right.
But now we at the time where he turning that.
Mm-hmm.
He turning it into and giving us a sound mind. A sound mind to understand. Yeah.
Okay. So we're going back to the west coast of Africa, but our ultimate destination is Jerusalem.
Jerusalem, right.
Okay.
Same thing with what happened with Zerubbabel when you go to the story of the three bodyguards when Zerubbabel was around Darius. Darius was a prince. Just Cyrus was a king. Darius was the prince, the next in charge, and Darius is one of his bodyguards. Like I said, the Most High know what he's doing. So when Cyrus died, Darius took the king. But Zerubbabel right there, Zerubbabel know him. And then he told Zerubbabel, they had a contest to see who was the wisest man in the kingdom, and Zerubbabel won the contest. And then Darius said, "What you want?" And then Zerubbabel was waiting on that. I want to go back to Jerusalem and rebuild a temple for my God.
Mm-hmm.
And Darius granted him that. But he was in Persia. He was in Persia. So what did he do? He was 6 days. They gave a feast for 6 days, kept the Sabbath, and then on the 8th day they returned back to Babylon. From Babylon, they came back to Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing for Babylon.
Right.
They returned back to the place. They returned back to the place from which they was taken to, and then from there they went back to Jerusalem.
Okay. Thank you.
Any more questions or comments?
One more. So China.
Okay.
How long well, I don't know. It's just scripture that may disclose. I mean, I know their kingdom is, or whatever, their reign and rule is gonna not last long. Is there scripture where I can?
Yeah, let me get it right quick. Yeah, let me get it right quick. I'm in the pocket. Yeah, I'm in Second Ezra chapter 12. And it says, I'm starting at verse 11. It says, "This is the meaning of the vision that you have seen as for the eagle." So he explained in the four beasts that Daniel explained to us, but he gave it to Ezra because Ezra came along later. And Ezra got more understanding, it got more in-depth understanding. It says, "As for the eagle that you saw rising from the sea, it is the fourth kingdom that appeared in the vision unto your brother Daniel. But it was not explained to him as I now explain to you, or have explained it. Behold, the days are coming when the kingdom will arise out of the earth, and it will be more terrible than all the kingdoms that were before it. Moreover, 12 kings will arise over it, once, like I said before, one after another. But a second who is to reign will rule longer than any of the 12. That's Augustus, Octavian. He came after Julius Caesar. But the second, who is the reign, will rule longer than the 12. This is the meaning of the 12 wings that you saw. As for you're hearing the voice that spoke, that came from not from his head, but from the middle of his body. This is the meaning. In the midst of the time of the kingdom, no small struggle will arise. It will be in danger of falling, but it shall not fall in, but it will reign its former glory. It will gain its former glory. And as for your seeing 8 additional wings springing forth from his wings, this is the meaning. For 8 kings will arise in it, whose time will be short, and and whose years will be fleeting. And 2 of them, here you go, 2 of them will fall when the middle of the time draws near, but 4 will be preserved for the time when the time is at an end, which brings to approach. But 2 will be kept until the end. And as for you seeing the 3 heads resting, this is the meaning. In the last days, the Most High will raise up 3 kings, and they will renew many things in it, and will distress the earth and those who live in it with greater oppression than all who were before them. This is why they are called the eagle's head. And this is they that will bring his wickedness to an head and will bring him to his end. And as for you seeing a greater head disappear, one of them will die in his bed, but in torment. But as for the 2 who were left, the sword will devour them. For the sword of one will devour the one who was with him, but he too will fall by the sword in the last days. And as for your seeing 2 additional wings crossing over to the head on the right side, this is the meaning. It is these that the Most High has kept for the eagle's end. That's China and Russia. For their reign was short and full of disturbances, as you saw. And as for the lion, see right here, we're witnessing this right now. As for the lion that you saw roused and roaring out of the forest and speaking to the eagle and rebuking him for his wickedness and his words that you have heard, this is the anointed one. That's David. That he tell you that in the last days he's going to raise David up. So we're looking at right now, Russia and China is in league together. And he said those 2 were reserved for the end. And their time going to be short and turbulent. So he keeping them for is to relocate us back to the West Coast. And once we get back over there, he started wreaking havoc.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Everybody good? Okay, well, I think we had 2 hours. You gonna shut it down right here, AJ?
Yep, go ahead. I'm gonna end it here. Shalom.
Okay, shalom, everybody. Hope you have a good Sabbath.
Shalom.